Hello and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Saskia and I've just finished my first year of psychology at the University of Southampton. So I thought I would talk to you about my first year experience as a COVID student, this whole situation, like with the online learning, with finances, accommodation, freshers, circuit laundry, disabled student allowance. I've made a list of things I want to go through, of just giving you a general idea of maybe what things were like this year, any advice I have, and if you're from the University of Southampton or going to the University of Southampton, this might be beneficial for you. It might not be, but it could be. So I thought we'd start with finances because that was the first port of call for me. So I don't know when I applied for my student finance, but it was a very quick process. It was very easy. Like, do it as soon as you're allowed to because it doesn't take time. And I got maximum student loan, so I was covered. It was nice to have that all sorted before I think I hadn't even been accepted into uni. Or I think I'd just been accepted into uni and I had it all sorted. Like, same with accommodation, I'd applied, I'd done all of that, I'd got all of that out of the way. So I didn't really have anything to worry about over summer. So student finance, apply as soon as possible. It's not difficult to apply, you just kind of have to put in like roughly what your family earn and then it will get sent to your parents for them to fill in like the official evidence of how much you earn. And then you just get a letter in the post like 2 weeks later saying, this is how much you'll get paid, ta-da. So, also in terms of student finance, I applied for disabled student allowance. Godsend, incredible, phenomenal, one of the best things I've ever done. I will link my video of, I filmed a video about disabled student allowance and I'll link that down below because I think it's quite useful. A lot of people don't know you can get disabled student allowance. If you have any mental health condition, any physical health condition that can affect your learning, and you have evidence of this, as in a letter from the GP or a letter from a specialist service, apply for disabled student allowance. Worst thing that's going to happen is you get rejected. Best thing that could happen is free laptop, free printer, free mental health support, loads of free stuff. So I'm going to say apply for it. Like, if you have evidence, do it. I struggled to know which evidence to send. I just sent everything. I was like, take it all. You can work out what's useful and what's not. And then I got loads of free stuff and it has actually been really useful. Then let's talk about accommodation because that was the next thing that I kind of found out. So I stayed in Wessex Lane. I stayed in an ensuite and I'm glad I had an ensuite. I don't think it would have been the end of the world if I had a shared toilet, but I was quite happy to have my own bathroom. It was very nice, especially because I had maximum student loan. I knew I could afford it, so it wasn't like I was splashing out extra cash I didn't have. I knew that I could afford to get the maximum, like a better room essentially, and it was definitely nicer. I have stayed in ensuite and non-ensuite. I preferred my ensuite room. My flatmates were quiet. We didn't really talk. There was nothing wrong with them, but I didn't know the names of 3 of them. I learned the name of one of them through our post. So there was 4 of us that spoke to each other, and the other 3 I spoke to once, maybe. That's about it. You're not going to get on with everyone, and that's fine. Like, I wasn't expecting to be best friends with everyone, but I was expecting a bit more. I asked for a quiet flat. Don't do this. Because I was like, I don't really drink, I'm not a very loud person, I want it to be nice and quiet so I can relax. Don't do this. Because first of all, a quiet flat doesn't mean a quiet block. Like, your flat might be quiet, but the flat next to you and the flat below might be really loud. So it's not really going to be quiet anyway. And second of all, people that tick for a quiet flat are normally people that don't drink at all and would much rather stick to themselves, which is what I thought I was. Turns out I'm not. I'm quite happy to interact with other people sometimes. I would have preferred a different flat. Because loads of people I know have made such good friends from their flat and I haven't. And it's just a bit disheartening to not really have made any friends in my flat. But like, don't worry if you don't. I still made friends, generally. They just didn't come from my flat. Like, make friends with people in a good flat, steal their friends. Become the extra member of their flat because it gets a bit lonely, and it's nice to have somewhere that you can go if you are lonely. Accommodation was relatively good. I didn't have any issues with my accommodation. I didn't have any issues with my flat. It was cheap. It did the job. I enjoyed my accommodation. Also, in terms of like COVID, if someone in your flat had COVID, you all had to self-isolate for 2 weeks. You couldn't have like parties and stuff. Security went around and fined people and all of that, but like I wasn't affected by anything, like any of the COVID restrictions. They didn't really affect me in terms of living in accommodation. Let's briefly touch on Circuit Laundry. Hate her. Don't pay for it. Don't pay for the dryer at all. Honestly, like maybe pay for the wash, but honestly hand wash. I hand wash my stuff. It was kind of annoying. It took a little bit of time, but it was quicker. Okay, it was kind of annoying. It took a bit of time, but it didn't cost me £3.20, £3.60. Yeah, don't pay for the dryer. It's not very good. The washing machine is okay, but you can do it for yourself. Like, I don't recommend splashing out on something as Circuit Laundry. Then, what can we talk about? We'll talk about COVID. How did they manage the COVID situation? See, if you'd have asked me this like a few months ago, I would have said, like in like October time, things were good with my uni and COVID. Like we all had COVID tests. We were allowed to do COVID tests literally whenever we wanted. The uni gave them to us for free. We would spit in the little tube, send it off, and you get a text saying you don't have COVID or you do have COVID. At the beginning, there was a few COVID cases because people were stupid. You know, some things was just people interacting with someone they didn't know had COVID, or they didn't also know they had COVID. But some things were people hosting like raves that were just dumb. Like, if your uni says don't host a rave, don't host a rave, because you could get fined, you could also get COVID, and you could be responsible for someone becoming really unwell or dying. And if you're fine with that, you're a bad person. It's just how it is. Like, I think my uni did okay with COVID. Like, especially at the beginning, they did well with kind of getting everyone tested, letting us all know how we could get tested. I think the people that didn't do well was the students at my uni. Like, the communication was a bit slow from the university, but, you know, it's kind of common sense. If you have COVID, self-isolate. If you have been in contact with someone who has COVID, self-isolate. Like, it's not that hard, but people seem to find it really difficult, because they're selfish. Is this just me getting angry at people? Yes. So then let's talk about the course itself. I did an entire video on like how the course is run, so if you are doing psychology, I'll put that in the cards, wherever that is. I'm not going to say I enjoyed the course, but I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy it. It was just like, that could have been because it was online, but I personally want more interesting stuff, and because psychology, you don't have to have done psychology before, a lot of it was very beginner, and the courses, the bits that could have been interesting, were not run well. Like, we had a module on personality and intelligence. I quite like intelligence. I think that's interesting. Not really bothered about personality, but intelligence, I really it intrigues me. It was run so badly, I didn't learn anything. Like, that's the thing, right? With online learning, I couldn't tell you a single thing I've learned this year. Is that because it was online learning? Is that because it was poorly run? I don't know. I'm going to say it was because it was online. But it was just, some things were run well. Some of the courses, some of the modules were run well, they were interesting, but some of them, the teachers didn't care. The lecturers were not interested anymore. They were like, right, I'm tired of this. Here's a lecture that we've recorded last year. We're not going to reply to your emails. Like, that's an annoying thing about being online. If it was in person, I'd go up to my teacher, I'd go up to the lecturer, I'd say, can you help me with this? I don't understand this. It being online meant, you know, you could Teams message your teacher. Sometimes they would reply really quickly, but then you Teams message another lecturer 3 weeks before they reply. So yeah, not the best. And then kind of, I'd say the course was okay. It's not thrilling. There are some interesting modules, there are some bad modules. I think it will only get better from here because I actually like most of the modules next term. Hopefully Hopefully they run okay. Then in terms of kind of grading, there's not really much to talk about in terms of grading. Like, I'm relatively happy with the grades I got, but you don't get much feedback. I have had, like, there's a few things where I've had actual feedback, as in it's been, this sentence makes no sense. There are a few times when it's been, you know, here is a 65, here's what went well, here's what went wrong. And there are times when you've just got a grade. I have had 4 assessments when I've just been given a number. Nothing else, no kind of information, just a number. Why did it get that grade? If they've graded it right, surely they've got to have written, even just in their notes, a piece of paper that says, you know, Saskia's essay, intro was really bad, rest of it was really good. Honestly, send me that. Like, I'm not paying $9,500 for just a grade. I mean, was this worth $9,500? No. Is uni full stop worth $9,500? Also no. But this was cheap. If they're already marking it, they should have feedback for it, so just give that to me, you know? I'm annoyed at that. Then, something else that annoyed me in terms of grades, normal distribution. Let's get annoyed. So I do psychology and we do research methods in some universities, and like, don't come at me and say that's not true, because I have asked people about this. In some universities doing psychology, if they did a maths test and they got 86% correct, they would get the 86 because that's what they got. In our university, if you get 86% and, you know, everyone got around 86% and there are a few people that got like 90%, you all get normally distributed down. So I got 86% or 88% in a maths test, as in that was my raw mark. I was normally distributed down to 66. So yeah, internally, quite valid. You know, representative of our grades across the course. The person who got a 62 was not as smart as the person who got a 66. Yeah, fine. Externally, not valid at all. I got a 66 right, and I actually got an 86. So I did better than someone in another university who got a raw mark of a 75 and they were given that 75. But it looks like I did worse compared. Like, when it starts to count on our degree, if they keep doing that, it's dumb. Will they keep doing that? Probably, because that just seems to be how it works. But it's very dumb, not externally valid at all. You can't compare my degree to someone from another university and say that they, like, objectively did better because their grade was higher in a research methods module when my raw mark would have been higher, if that makes sense. Like, I'm really annoyed about this. I'm really disappointed. I've benefited from I've lost like 25% from normal distribution, and I've gained like 5%. I'm owed 20% in normal distribution, and 20% is quite a big amount. Like, it doesn't matter this year that much because it doesn't count for anything. But next year, when it starts to count, if I get graded really low because they've normally distributed me, when I then go to apply for jobs, my grade in research methods will look really bad even if it wasn't bad. I'm really annoyed by this. That really, really does bug. Let's talk about like lecturers and stuff. My lecturers were okay. They weren't great though. They weren't the best. Some of them ignored me. As in, we had like lectures on Blackboard and I would copy and paste the same comment like 12 times into the chat because I just got ignored. They just didn't reply to my messages, didn't even acknowledge that I'd sent a message in the chat. I literally got messages on WhatsApp from my psychology group chat being like, why is blank ignoring you? I was like, or just being like, oh, seen your question 12 times now, is he going to answer it? No. I don't know why some lecturers just hated everything really. Yeah. Some lecturers were good. I would say we've had 3 good lecturers. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say we've had 3 good lecturers and we've had about... The rest of them were either mediocre or I personally didn't like because they didn't like the teaching style. They also just ignored me, didn't reply to my email comments, didn't reply to anything when I asked them about anything, kept changing their mind on exams, just kind of really made life difficult. Campus. I've been on campus twice. I know, I'm so privileged definitely worth £9.5 grand, useless. I've not even been in the psychology building. The 2 times we went on campus, we were in like the computing building. Not been on campus. I just no. Like, the campus is fine, but can we go maybe one day? Like, please? Also on campus, they've actually got some nice stuff on campus. Like, they've been doing some nice free summer events recently, and like the library's really nice. They have like 3 libraries and a study room, like a study building. They're all really nice, they're all fine, but people don't wear their masks, but that's people being idiots rather than the university. The library gym is also, not the library gym, the university gym is also really nice. It's got a swimming pool and a gym, and they're both quite nice. You just get the app, book on your phone a 1 hour slot, go in, and you have 45 minutes, and you just swim or use the gym, and it's really nice. They also have like a sports ground, which is where we do our netball stuff, and that's also nice. It's all like conveniently linked. Like, the bus services are great in Southampton. If you want to get somewhere, the bus will take you. Like, you're fine with buses. I don't really join societies. I'm a member of 4 societies. Or actually, I'm probably a member of more, but do I go to them? Do I interact with them? No. I'm a member of Psychology Netball, Monty Netball, STEM Netball, because I like my netball and I want to do as much as possible. And also because on some of them, like, I'm not the best at my position, so other people play the position that I like, so I just like fill in on like 2 teams, and then on one team I get to play the position that I don't even prefer it. It's just less effort. I don't know what I like to play in netball anymore. I play everything. I used to play goal attack, goal shoot. I now play wing defence, goalkeeper, goal shoot, goal attack. I've also done wing attack. I play everything other than centre now, I guess. And that's fine. Honestly, I quite enjoy having 3 netball teams because it means I've got more friends. I don't have more friends, actually. I'm friends with one of the netball team, the psychology one, and the rest of them I don't really talk to. But it's nice to have 3 different groups so I can do like 3 different positions. It's just nice to, it's nice to do a bit more netball. I enjoy my societies. Do I even have anything else to say? I feel like I've just been angry. Like, I've not had a bad year. There's just a lot of things that could have been better. I feel like I've spoken about most things that I was going to speak about. Have I spoken positively? Not really. See, I'm sure from this video it's going to look like I've had a horrible year. I've had a fine year. It's just not been great. Like, there's been nothing, I was going to say there's been nothing wrong with it, but I could pinpoint so many things that have been wrong with it. But there's just been nothing exceptionally right about it. Like, I've had good experiences, but I've also had kind of equal amount of bad ones. So let's hope second year's better. Let's hope if I film this video next year, I don't complain as much. I feel like I won't, but who knows, because apparently loads of universities are now like adopting blended learning, and they're not going to reduce our tuition fees for doing online learning. But my university hasn't said that yet, but if they do say that, I will be extra angry, but I will also be happy because grades are easier to get online, but I will also be angry because it's not worth £9 grand, but that was a fun video. I'm so light-hearted. The University of Southampton's alright. That's my promo for the uni. It's alright, it does the job. We'll end the video there. Was this beneficial? No. Have any of my videos been beneficial recently? No. But they've been easy to film, and I like getting riled up sometimes. I like to just, you know, get the anger out, because there is a lot of anger towards so many things. And it's good to get that in a healthy way, like at my university. Hopefully that video wasn't too long. Hopefully it wasn't too painful to sit through. Yeah. If it was helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, you know, that kind of thing. If it wasn't helpful, yeah, it wasn't. You're welcome.